people think I hate Primerica. It's not true. I don't like any person at any company who lies and misleads people in order to recruit or make sales.
The number one mistake is they're not taking action. They always dream about their dream house. They always tell you, yo quiero tener una casa para mis hijos, para mi familia.
Welcome to the Don't Blame the Leads podcast, the only podcast that'll make you more attractive, it'll make you better in business, and it'll make you an overall better person, allegedly. Don't quote me on that. Today, we have a very special guest, wonderful gentleman from Primerica. Please, everybody give it up for Jesus.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for having me here, Jake. It's a pleasure. Like, we've been talking like forever. I feel it's forever. It's not been that long, but I feel that we know each other because as your content is great. I feel that your content is great.
Thank you. Thank you. And, before I start, because I want to interview this gentleman, there's a lot of misconceptions about me. People think I hate Primerica. It's not true. I don't like any person at any company who lies and misleads people in order to recruit or make sales. It doesn't matter to me who you are, what company. But one of the things that I like the most about Jesus is he's always politely challenged me. I might say something he doesn't agree with. He hasn't just jumped off the deep end and said crazy stuff back to me like a lot of people have. He's always, asked a question, or he'll DM me something privately to ask me a question. And we've had great conversation. I've hopped on lives of his, even though people who know me know I hate hopping on lives. And that's why I wanted to have a conversation. I wanted to ask several questions about himself, Primerica. And as someone who's considered a Primerica hater, even though I'm not, I think this would be a very good thing for other people on my side of the industry and his side of the industry to see exactly how he approaches things. Without any further ado, let's address the elephant in the room. So why would you sit down with a host who's been a vocal critic of Primerica that, people hate me so much because they think I hate Primerica? Why would you sit down with me?
You know what? The first time I saw your content, I felt that there was a lot of truth in your words, even though some people it was just hating out there. I felt that you didn't said nothing that was completely incorrect or a lie. So I started looking at I've always been a critical person. And what I feel is like, look, we can forget sometimes, we should forget sometimes about companies' names. It's about you. It's about your leadership. Leadership is personal. Okay. So why sitting here? Because I feel that this is going to be beneficial for both sides. It's going to be a nice conversation. We're going to address at the end of the day, maybe we don't totally agree on some money topics, but I feel that we are going to be helping out there some families, and we're going to do what we have to do in our side of the understanding of what is right for the other person that we have sitting in front. Even though English is not my main thing, so sorry for my accent and my sometimes, it can be. But Primerica, tell you a little bit about that. Primerica gave me the opportunity, first of all, to learn about finances, because the only thing I knew was spending money, throwing money. I was a personal trainer in my previous job. My wife started in the business, gave us the opportunity to learn about finances, to get licensed. And I feel it's more about a mission. And I feel it's more about a mission also with my community, with the Latino community, where we are so lost. We just believe our cousins, our moms, and our dad. And I feel that happens to every community, but this is stronger because of their barrier and the language barrier. It's going to be stronger for Latino community to educate themselves and have good financial choices.
That makes sense. I think that's very powerful. My company, one of the things I'm doing at my agency is we have a Hispanic division that we're opening. And you're right. There are a lot of communities, not just Hispanic people, even the LGBTQIA plus community. Like, there are so many underserved individuals who, from what I'm told, feel they don't know who they can trust, because when they do talk to someone who's outside of the community that seems trustworthy, they just seem like they're just trying to get over on them or lie to them. And it's very confusing. So I commend you for that. That's great. Let me ask you this. So building a business with your wife, How do you balance the marriage with the mission and the specific roles you play in the organization?
That's we are like a lot alike. So that's crazy. Sometimes we're sometimes just pushing to the other the things that the other don't want to do, because we are like like an action and power couple. We always like we don't. There's a lot of organizations in I bet in Primerica or any business that one is going to be like the structure side of the business, like pending business, or how you call it, like how the client is doing the license, if the recruiting side of the recruiting part of the business, let's say the licensing ship, right? Because at the end of the day, if the recruiter is not getting licensed, then he's not going to be making money. So that's a lot of paperwork to handle and to help them to do this. We don't really have like a department. We just do both things at the same time, and we trying to juggle this because we both enjoy like being out there in appointments, sitting with people, making deals, helping families. It's not like one of us is the structure side of the business, even though I'm kind of more, even like more, a little bit more organized. She's more empathic. So that's how we balance that. And the marriage, we spend the whole day, well, we spend a lot of time together, and we bring our kids to the office because we live super close to our office.
Nice. That's a dream right there. Okay, so how do you separate? This is a big question for me. Like, how do you separate the Torrin family brand and reputation from any of the negative stereotypes that are sometimes associated with Primerica or any company at large? Let's just say any company.
Hey, you know what? I feel like there has been a thing here in Miami. Like Primerica is massive in Miami. Like everybody knows about Primerica because we have a big office that everybody's out there in the street talking to people, and not all of the representatives do things like great. That happens everywhere, right?
Hmm.
That happens everywhere out there. Like if you go to any restaurant, let's say McDonald's, you're gonna find some person that is gonna mistreat you, that is going to go and attempt against what you feel are your boundaries, right?
Yeah.
Because just they're in a bad mood or whatever, and they're also sometimes scared or just taking care of them, right? Like thinking about them first, than the client. And with time, you end up learning that it's not about you. It's not about you making money. It's about how you help people. And money is going to be like res- reciprocal. I think that's the word.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
how many families you serving, and the negative connotation that you can find out there. I'll just say that sometimes I feel that's a great plus. If the person gives me the chance to just sit with them and serve with education and knowledge and numbers, what is the Primerica? I know what is the financial decisions that they're going to be taking to their futures, and helping them make the right choices that is going to be right choices for them right now. If they discipline to them, then they're going to learn that it's not about the company, it's not Primerica, it's the person that you're sitting with, and how you can make a difference.
I can agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. I tell people sometimes, yes, there are companies I would never work for. There are some companies in general that I've worked with before that I would never do again. But if you find the right leadership at some of these companies, you'll be okay. You'll be okay because there are people at these companies who don't believe or don't follow the pack of some of the negative things that are happening. So the fact that you take it like client by client and agent by agent, that's very strong. That's very strong. I agree with it. Okay. All right. So let's talk impact. We talk a lot about recruiting in this industry, but the product that we're selling is protection, right? So let's discuss the most impactful death claim that you've ever had to deliver and what that moment taught you, if you've delivered death claims, because some people don't.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, I have.
Okay.
Sadly, right? Sadly, first of all, it was the moment that you don't want to actually be doing. It's just you. Sometimes people think, and most of people out there think that they don't need life insurance, or when they tell you, it's because nothing wrong is gonna happen to them or their families. But you know what? Life is life. Life is real. This is not a perfect movie. This is not Disney, right? So the most impactful one I feel was a special agent. She started as an agent. She
Hmm.
was Nicaraguan. Okay, she passed away sadly, and
Oh.
she started for the money. She started for making money, for a side hustle. She didn't believe in the product. She thought it was important for her. And you know what's the crazy part? One of the like our most hated or most infamous thing, the famous 3x3. She did it, right? She did it. She did her own application. She took her own life insurance policy because of the 3x3, not because her belief on the product. And the crazy thing is, a year went by and she sadly developed liver cancer.
Oh.
After that, 6 months went by and she was gone.
Oh.
So it was crazy. It was crazy because she didn't believe in what she was doing. She was just making it as a side hustle, and but as we were training her, and we were running appointments with her, she started, listening and getting a little bit of comprehension of how important was this. And when things became bad, another thing that also helped her, that is also being on the top of the table lately on TikTok, is a writer that we have that is called IBR. Okay, so the IBR, it's an increasing benefit rider that it's in, no, the annually increasable. It's the IBR. It's this thing. What it does is, at the end of the year one, you're gonna get an extra 10% as an increase, no questions asked, guaranteed insurability. So
Face amount. The face amount increases
yes,
every. Okay.
the
Okay.
face amount increases without questions asked. So some people, that's why people confuses that your policy is getting more expensive every year, but it's that the agent didn't explain this benefit. Okay,
Mm.
and you can also turn it down. So you get a letter that you can accept it or not. So she got an extra 10% of their main face amount, even though she was sick already when the year
Wow.
policy.
Wow. And I'm sorry to hear that. It's one thing to lose a client, but to lose somebody that you've been coaching and training and helping to, and I think it also goes to show you, like, a lot of times as managers, uplines, mentors, whatever we call ourselves, we'll tell an agent to do something like, "Hey, get a policy," and if for some reason sometimes they don't think it's important. Just like
Yeah.
clients, they think nothing's going to happen to them. So, agents out there, be coachable. If your manager's telling you, let's get you a policy, even if it's small, get a policy, because you never know. God forbid it happens like that. But yeah, that's a very sad story. And I'm sorry for your loss, man. Okay. All right. All right. Let me get a specific example of an agent who came to your team with nothing, or somebody who was written off by another agency or company who you helped, and you turned that person into a success story.
Right now, I can only think about myself because my wife was the one that started the business. Yes,
Okay.
and I didn't was into this. This wasn't my thing. I always told her, like, this is my thing. I've been 8 years in the personal trainer industry. I kind of do sales, but it's not really what I do, especially not with money. I'm just a spender. You are, you know, you are the person that keeps our finances in place. So this is your thing. But during pandemic, so I got fired. Right, every gym was closed down, so I had to make a decision if I wanted to just find something else to do or embrace the opportunity, because I was already licensed, even security is licensed. I wasn't about that by that time, but I wasn't developing the business. And also I was, even though it doesn't look like, I was a shy person. So that was a big change for me, because sometimes people say, well, how can you be a shy person if you're a personal trainer? You have to interact with people. Yes, but I was comfortable. I became comfortable with the amount of knowledge I had on that field, so that made easy for me to engage in conversations, right? But
Mm.
this was new. This was totally new.
Yeah.
So I feel that when I actually get and took that decision to make this happen with my wife, was when the business made a change. The business was like, her business was like, okay, it was, yes, it was her thing, but I think that now that we are together in this, we are actually growing, and some people is following the lead, and now they have the chance to see different personalities, because my wife is more like empathic person, smiling, and more. And also, I feel like I'm a nice guy, but I'm like straight to the point. I'm like the tough guy of the, like, hey, you're not
Yeah.
gonna be cleaning with me. Come on, let's do this together. We can do it, but no moaning and crying, okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Nice. Okay. So when you sit down with a Hispanic family, and feel free to answer this in Spanish and then English, it's just if you,
Yeah.
you know, for your audience, when you sit down with a Hispanic family, what is the number one financial mistake you see them making, and how does your team or you fix it?
Okay, we always focus on their goals. But when they think about their goals and you actually realize that they think they're walking towards them, the number one thing, the number one mistake is they're not taking action. They always dream about their dream house. They always tell you, yo quiero tener una casa para mis hijos, para mi familia. I want to have a big house for my family, for my kids. But they're not walking towards there. They're just dreaming. They're just, they're not putting action into those words, into those feelings. They're just, I don't know, expecting to win the lotto or something like that, because by the path they're walking down ain't gonna happen. So I feel we actually in everything related to finances, and there's a lot of misinformation out there. For example, with securities business, that they only think that these accounts are for retirement, right? That it's
Hmm.
only, they're only gonna work for when you're old, and you want to enjoy life right now and be able to build something for midterm at least, right? But for example, there are qualified accounts, not only just a brokerage regular account, that you can take advantage, for example, in a Roth IRA, for a like a early distribution to make that money happen into the down payment of the house without penalties. So they don't know that. They just listen to what their cousin tell you, or they just, and usually what their cousin tell them, it's they're just gonna pull money out from the check, from their check.
Yeah. And the cousin doesn't understand why. I get
Exactly.
it. Yeah. Wow. All right. Okay. That's, yeah, I see that a lot. And I don't mean just like Hispanic families. I see that a lot. That's, yeah. All right. So let's talk about some realities of the industry. Here's some harder questions. So when we talk like recruiting versus selling, addressing the criticism that the industry focuses too much on selling the dream, you know, a $99 or $200, sign up rather than actually selling the product. How do you find the balance of selling the dream versus the product? Like, how do you find that balance?
I don't really sell the dream at the beginning. My main I when I'm doing my presentation, or however you want to call it, I'm more like this is just a talk. I'm just telling you, hey, relax. We're just gonna talk about what I do and how this can serve you. And let me tell you, this is an open opportunity. So if you find value, if you think that maybe this could be a good fit for you, maybe you could take advantage of this and do some dollars. I'm talking about 1,500, extra 1,500, right? So just listen. And the first question, probably I ask when I start describing what we do, is, would you find useful at least extra $500 this month? Question is always yes. But how are we going to do that? How are we going to do that? Is, well, we do it through, well, that's my side of the story. Not every primary representation is the same, right? So I just tell them, like, we do this in two ways. Okay, we have a two-way here. First, we're going to provide you education for you to start using your own money to make more money, understanding your taxes and your deductions. So at the end of the year, you can have extra dollars in your pocket that you save from Uncle Sam, right? Taking advantage, you taking advantage of them. Or if you find value in this, you can get licensed and learn the business, and just for helping a couple clients, you can make extra money. That's it. That's what I sell. I don't go out there and tell them you're gonna be rich and you're gonna be this is gonna be easy. Oh no, this is super easy. Hey bro, you gotta focus. You gotta focus, and this is new. So I need you here, and I need to know that I can count on some schedule. Let's make a commitment together. When we do the orientation, like the second day, we're going into the business, right? I'm going to explain how we're going to roll this, how we're going to do this work. I asked them, what days and what schedule can I call you to see how you're doing, to see how can I help you? If it's with the study material or if you have anything going on with appointments or training. Yes, that's pretty much.
I like that. I like that because change the view. I like that because that's very collaborative. I think that it's missed a lot. I think I wasn't gonna say this, I'm gonna say it. So as you know, like I own a recruiting company and I've recruited for some captive companies and some non-captive independent brokerages. And there was a guy at a big three-letter IMO that I recruited for. He doesn't, and it's a very long story how it went. Like I was working through someone else to recruit for him. And anyways, this guy had absolutely no systems or any care at all for the people he was recruiting. So he wanted, because I think I was getting him 10 to 20 agents a week, but and they were licensed. He would complain
Great.
though. He was complaining because they'd asked him questions. They wanted direction. They didn't know how to sell. They didn't know anything. And my thing is like, do you not at least have someone that the agents can call and talk to? You just want a guy who's really good to start working for you and start buying leads immediately and start selling. They need direction. It needs to be collaborative. It needs to be where, okay, you're new. What's your schedule like? Just like you said, when can I call you? What goals do you have? How can we help you get to where you want to be? But there are a lot of people in this industry who just don't care. They think they're doing the right thing and they think they're helping people out, and all they're doing is just boosting their own ego. So I don't know. I really like that. I like collaborative training. I like collaborative mentorship. That's really good. All right. How do you police your own ranks? Like, how do you handle like bad apples or people who are like overhyped recruiters who give the rest of leadership a bad name? Like, how do you handle that stuff?
They hand like I feel we're a company that is going to handle by itself. You just it's when people is doing wrong, they're going to find something we all know, chargeback, and they're going to find it really quick.
Very
They're going to
fast.
find it really quick. When that happens, I try to sit with them, but sometimes egos are in the middle. Maybe we're both gentlemen. We both think, some people come with big egos. They are probably salespeople, maybe not insurance or investment salespeople, but they feel they can sell, and they just don't want you too close, right? So
Yep.
I let them. I just let them do what they do. But when the policy comes in force, I try to call the client as I can see them, right? I can see the policy in the system. I
Yep.
try to call them and ask a couple questions, and if they're not yet securities licensed, I ask if he told you about this and not only the policy, because I find the main thing that is going on with this, not only the company, with this buy term and invest difference philosophy, is that people, most of the people, is just investment that is not having their securities license, and they're not studying for them. So what's going to end up happening is they're never going to invest the rest. So the philosophy is going to fail, and it's easier for others to tell them like you're not saving money, you're throwing all the money away. Yes, in case something happened to your family, they're gonna have this money, but what happens? How you can use that money while you're alive, right?
Hmm.
So I feel that's most of the time the bad apples, they're just out there selling policies, and they forget this is about finances, about their goals, and not just about the policy. You're just For me, it's plan A and plan B. Plan A is when everything happens the way you want it. Insurance, as a term policy, is just there just in case. Just what if this doesn't go the path you want to go?
I agree with that. Yep. If something happens to you, well, or when, because we're all gonna go. We're all gonna
Yep.
go one day. Okay. So setting some realistic expectations. I'm assuming this is going to be the part where all the hate is going to come into this video. But setting realistic expectations. Can a part-timer actually make a living, or is that just marketing? I want to talk about like the real math of success in your organization. Is that real? Is it fluff? What does it look like?
I think it's more about the person and their discipline. I have I have a couple. She's a Guatemalan person.
Mm,
It's only her because her couple is just like the rah 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 side. He's just out there, yes, clapping and maybe sending some leads. Maybe if he finds somebody, of course he's gonna send that person towards her.
hmm.
And her first month, she rolled over, doesn't like the amount of premium, the money. We're talking about money. So
Yeah,
that first month, she made over 5 grand, and that was more than enough for her. So yes, I feel you can, but it's more about the person and their discipline, and they're willing to do things right and to go out there and make the appointments and make real connections. And of course, it's gonna work better for you if you have been a good person during the course of your life and not just now. Because some people, they're just their credibility, or they're not good with the person around them, with the people around them, and now they're just expecting that everybody's going to sit with them and talk about business, or doing the training favor. Like, it's quite a normal in that we ask, like, for a new recruit, like, hey, you don't know this craft yet, let's just sit with some people that and let them know that you're learning, and you just want to show them what you're into now,
mm,
for them to have some feedback. And if they find it interesting, this is an opportunity, or they can be your first client. But it's up to them to decide. I don't want you selling before we sit with them, or recruiting before we have the appointment.
that's smart. You know what? I can't disagree with that too much. I can't. It's really hard to disagree with that. Because I think that no matter what company you're with, if you're not gonna work, or if you don't have a good work ethic, if you aren't coachable, you're not gonna make any money. Because this is not a 9 to 5. It's not a 9 to 5, unfortunately. So, yeah, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. All right, we're almost finished here. So let's talk about your faith in your business. You like how I want to know how your values dictate how you treat a failing agent versus a winning agent. So you got two agents. You got one that's really, really good, and one that's not. They're not really. It's taking a minute and they're struggling. How do your values, you know, dictate how are you treating those agents?
You know what, Jay? I feel it's more about them. It's more about them, because you're gonna have some agents that they just come here to the meetings, to
Hmm.
the to the to get information, to use it for them. I have an agents, right? Because they're licensed, but at the end of the day, if you look at the numbers, they're not there, right? Like, they're not making business, or
Yeah.
maybe like a switch. How you say that? Like intermitente, like here
Every
and
once in
there.
a while. Yeah.
Yeah, every once in a while. There you go. So every once in a while, but you know what? They feel comfortable here. They feel like they belong to a place, and they write business, and they are looking for something that one day is gonna, maybe they're gonna wake up, or maybe not. But who cares, right? Like, they care. If he's feeling great here, this is their place. I have an agent. She's been here for a while. Right now, this month, she's passing This is her second attempt for her securities license. And I know she's going to pass. And I feel that this is maybe what she needed
Yeah.
for her, not because she wasn't able to. Is what just some in Latino communities, maybe in other communities too. I don't know. I'm just talking about what I know. It's quite normal that you hear go out there and study and get a title, get something, a piece of paper that says that you are somebody. But you're somebody. You always been somebody. You always been somebody. You just don't know it yet. But maybe this can serve as validation in her core values and her way of seeing things to know that she's someone. But she always been. I always tell her, I love you, and you always been someone, and you have a champion right there. Because sometimes she feels sad about her how and what's going on with her business, and
That's
that's okay.
that's really nice. That's really nice. So leading into the next question, so what advice would you give to the agent that's at Primerica or otherwise, and let's say they're 6 months in, they haven't really made any money, and they're thinking about quitting? What advice would you give to that agent?
Never. Like never quit. Like first question is why you want to quit? Like why you want to quit right now? Don't you think that everything in life, that everything that has been good in your life required some effort and discipline and learning the craft and maybe taking some steps into it, right? Like how many appointments you write, like how many appointments you having per week? Oh no, and having one per month. Dude, this is your spare time. You're just frustrated because you're not putting enough activity into it. It's not because of the business. It's not because you are not good. It's because your activity level is so low that you cannot imagine going out there to any job and just working 1 hour per month. Do you think you can make a living out of it? You can have results out of it? Doubtfully. So I want you to come with me. Let's do this together. I can help you. Maybe what do you feel? Addressing real issues. Nobody's giving me the appointment. Nobody's helping me. Let me help you. I can call. I can call for you. You can watch me. Okay. Hey, this is Jesus. I'm the manager from Mr. Success Story here. He's about to. He is starting into this. Maybe he talked to you already about what he's doing. Yes, he told me he's doing something. Listen, this is important for him. He just wanna to let you know what he's doing, and just for that. And if you find some value into this, maybe not for you because you feel this is not important for you, you can refer some people into him because hey, he want to make it. He want to learn this, and the best way to learn this is sitting with different people. If you can find some value, do you think, Mister, that you can refer some people to Mr. Success Story, soon Success Story here? I feel that everybody is gonna say, almost everybody is gonna say yes, no problem. When we can grab a coffee.
That's I like that advice. I like that advice. It's about consistency. It's about consistency and getting out there and seeing more people. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Or bad, and doing some different stuff. Like, hey, not everybody is maybe a super extrovert that can go out there and get people to sit. So try other stuff. Try social media. Try TikTok. Go to network events. Just go and do a live. Just get some new friends. This is a relationship business, not transactional.
It's more like network marketing than people think.
Yeah.
It's really is.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you and your wife look back at the organization that you've built, what's one thing that you want to be remembered for?
I really believe that what we want to be remembered for is helping. Probably we're Venezuelans, so we want to make our lives great so we can help others. Like I have a couple Colombians coaches, they're making an impact back there in Colombia, in their community, in their politics. They're getting involved with maybe nonprofit organizations, with making a difference because you know what? Money is not just money. It's the ability to do things.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to just make something different, not just for us and our family. Yes, of course, first you got to save yourself,
Of
but
course.
then build something impactful, not just for us, but for not only, but mainly we only think in our dreams. We just mainly think about Venezuela and maybe our state for where we from.
I got you. All right. Well, wrapping up, tell everybody where they can reach you. What social media handles, your platforms, where can people reach you if they want to start at Primerica, or if there's somebody who wants help with their wealth management and they want to talk to you? How do people get a hold of you?
They can get all my social media profiles are F Coach X. Like that's how you can contact me through Instagram, Facebook, just my name, Jesus Torin. Bayanilla is my second last name. And my phone number is in every platform. So they can feel free to reach me and just, hey, how you doing? I heard about you and this and there, and we can definitely make something together. Yeah, or just education. You know what? The first thing that I always tell them is just learn, listen, and if you find value, then we can do business. Don't do it because you're just hyped or excited. Just give me a chance, because some people is going to tell you like, recruit me right now. Yes, but let me show you what we do. I'm going to do it, but let me show you what we do so you can be even more hyped.
That's great. That's great. I like that a lot. And are there any messages to any of the Hispanic listeners, anything that you want to say? Feel free.
Yes. Yes, of course. Tú no viniste aquí para pasar trabajo. Tú no viniste a los Estados Unidos para, para sobrevivir. Tú viniste para hacer una diferencia. Si tú emigraste a otro país, tú estás aquí para hacer algo diferente y grande para tu familia. Okay? So pretty much what I said is, if you came here to this country, if you took that big step of going and make a living in another country, then you didn't came here just to survive. You can do something big, definitely.
Nice. Nice. Well, Jesus, thank you for joining me, especially on such short notice. And thank you for being a level-headed individual. A lot of people everybody thinks everyone's against everyone else. It's not always like that. But yeah, other than that, sign off.